For 35 years, I have never called him Dad. Many people find this hard to understand when they first hear it. The only time I heard him hurt my mom, I was in the next room. The fight that night, I later realized, was tied to me. It all came down to the simple fact that I could never bring myself to say those two words, Dad. If you want to understand why, you need to hear about my childhood. When I was little, my parents took my little brother to Guangdong for work and left me behind in my hometown. I lived alone in an empty old house with neither my mom nor my dad nearby. From childhood through my teens, those four walls were my only constant company. Even now, I can recall every faint sound inside that old house after dark. Wind whistled through cracks in the walls, rats scurried in the corners, and all I could hear was my own breathing. After school, other kids were met by their parents, while I walked all the way home alone. When I fell ill, others were cared for by their parents, but I had to light a fire and cook congee to get through it. Back then, when they worked far away, Mom was always the one calling home. He never called me once on his own, not a single word to ask how I was doing. He never asked if I was hot in summer or cold in winter. He never checked my grades, nor wondered if I was bullied at school. I could see all my schoolmates had both parents around, yet over time, I grew used to the fact that my life would always be different. When I grew up, I kept my distance from my family. Outsiders noticed and called me cold and unfilial. What they never knew is that for as long as I can remember, the word Dad held no warmth for me at all. I've paused many times to wonder, was there ever a single gentle memory between him and me? I've searched every corner of my memory, and there is nothing. He never held me, never took my hand. Even something so ordinary for most children, a father buying candy or an ice cream bar for his kid, I have no memory of that at all. Growing up without that presence taught me how precious companionship and responsibility are. The person who should have taught me these things was absent for my entire childhood. I thought loneliness was my fate until I moved to Guangdong after the college entrance exam. It was the first time I ever lived under the same roof with them. It was during that time that I truly saw who he was. He smoked, drank, and gambled, often squandering the hard-earned money my mom worked so hard for. As a child, I watched my mom hide money, carefully sewing each bill into her undergarments. She knew if she hid it carefully, every cent would disappear. I couldn't understand her struggle back then, Only as an adult did I realize how helpless she felt. One night, I stayed in the next room. First came loud arguing, then crashing sounds, and finally my mom's quiet, broken crying. I heard him blame every conflict on my mom. He said she had turned me against him, that she was the reason I refused to call him dad. I froze where I stood. As a young child, a naive thought crossed my mind. I thought if I could just say that one word, the fight might end. But no matter how I tried, the words were stuck in my throat. I could not speak them. It was not stubbornness or defiance. Deep down, I simply couldn't utter that name. That night I understood. Decades of distance between us can never be mended with a single word. Over the years, many people told me blood ties cannot be broken, and I should try to forgive him. I never know how to reply when people say that. We didn't add each other on WeChat until last year, when Mom got sick and we had to arrange her care. In my contacts, he is saved only by his full name. No loving kinship titles, nothing warm. Our messages hold no small talk, only practical matters we need to sort out. We talk about my mom's health and tasks to handle, nothing more. Many outsiders see this as cold, yet years of empty absence cannot be erased by a title. Honestly, at this point, I no longer cling to the idea of filling that empty space. As I slowly made peace with the past, I realized I do not hate him. To hate someone means you still hold hope. I have no hope left for him. Studying, working, switching careers, taking a pay cut, buying a home, and paying the mortgage, I faced every hardship in life all on my own. I had no one to lean on as a child, so I learned to rely only on myself. I don't need his belated guilt, nor a forced reconciliation just to satisfy what others expect. As for me, I just want to live my own life peacefully and well. I'm 35 now. I cannot travel back in time to hug that little girl and tell her she has nothing to fear. Yet now, I finally have the strength to protect her. I can build a safe home for myself, choose who stays in my life, and gently make peace with old wounds. That is why I no longer fixate on whether I ever called him Dad. That little girl was always worthy of being loved. But no one ever told her that during her lonely childhood. But now I finally understand.